Hey, Adam Huxuma here from ProjectionHub, and in this video I'm going to answer a question that I've had a few clients ask and run into in the past, and they want to know whether they can sell their business to a new buyer and that buyer will just continue to make payments on this SBA EIDL loan. And just let's not mention it to the SBA. We don't want to tell the SBA that we're going to sell our business. We'll sell it to this person and they'll just keep making the payments on this EIDL loan for the next, 28 years or whatever the term left on the loan is. And I'm going to kind of go over why that is not a good idea, why that is not allowed according to your SBA EIDL loan note, and just kind of point out the key parameters from the loan document. So before I dive into that, just a little bit of my background. I was an SBA lender for 12 years, closed about 1,500 SBA loans. Now I own a company called ProjectionHub, where we help folks create financial projections and business plans and ultimately help them through the SBA process. And so a lot of situations we're helping people buy a business. And so that's where this tends to come up, because the sellers have an EIDL loan. It has great terms, right? Low interest rate, 30-year term. They don't want to pay it off. And so their hope is, let's just not tell the SBA about this. We'll sell you the business, but you just keep paying on the loan and there won't be any problem. So here is why that is a bad idea. If you look at your EIDL loan note, you're going to see a section on collateral. And what it says is, for loans of greater than $25,000, borrower hereby grants to SBA, the secured party, a continuing security interest, so UCC. They'll file a UCC filing to any and all collateral as described. And basically it's like everything, right? It's all of your equipment, your inventory, any assets of the business, they will have as their collateral if the EIDL loan was over $25,000. And then later on, you will see this requirements relative to collateral that says borrower will not sell or transfer any collateral except normal inventory turnover in the ordinary course of business without the prior written consent of SBA. So if you sell your business, you have sold their collateral without their permission. And so you're breaking the terms of your loan on a federal SBA loan. So I would recommend not doing that. If you're the buyer, I would certainly recommend, I wouldn't want to buy a business where really you don't have the ownership of these assets. The SBA has these as collateral. And if you haven't gone through and gotten their permission, you're breaking the rules. So what you need to do in this case is probably just pay off the EIDL loan. That's probably the most likely scenario. You're going to apply for an SBA 7A loan, the buyer will, and part of the proceeds of the loan to buy the business will be to pay off that EIDL loan. Or in some circumstances, you can request to the SBA for the ability for the buyer to assume the EIDL loan and get their formal permission for them to just keep making payments on it instead of paying it off even after the business has been sold. Now, my understanding from talking to folks is that is really hard to get approved. We've tried here a couple of times. Typically, you're not likely, I don't think, to get that approved unless there are some pretty unique circumstances for the business. But if the buyer's just wanting to retire and they want a big payout and they don't want to pay off the SBA EIDL loan, but they have the money to be able to pay it off, they just don't want to, that's probably not going to fly. SBA is going to say, no, sorry, you can't buy an extra boat with the retirement proceeds. Like, you're going to have to pay the idle loan off first. In situations where maybe the business is really struggling and it needs to change hands and it really truly can't cash flow, maybe you can make a case for an assumption. And we've tried to help some clients go through that process as well. You got to really make a case with a business plan and a set of projections to really show why you need approval from the SBA to do this. So that is something we could help you with. We can make the request. Certainly no guarantee that that is going to get approved, but there is a mechanism, there's a process for the SBA to request the assumption of an EIDL loan. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. Be happy to try to help talk you through what your options are. All right, thanks.